Alright, it's STC Donnie here. Welcome to the Team STC YouTube. And today we're going to be doing some spark plugs on a 2.2 Ecotec and L61 in particular. This is in a 2005 Cavalier today. That's what we're going to show you. I'm going to show you what you need, how to do it. And it's pretty easy, especially if, 4 cylinders are pretty easy, but some people aren't sure. But these are the spark plugs that I always use in my Ecotecs. This is for both my NA Ecotecs, and I use this in my boosted Ecotec. The NGK Power Platinums. The Platinum is the least rating that it's suggested to use in these cars, and the NGK is the same manufacturer that makes the AC Delco plugs. They're like the same plugs basically. So you can use either one. You can use any plugs you want. I personally just don't like Bosch, but just make sure you get the Platinum plugs at least. You can go up to Iridium, but the only advantage is they run longer. They don't give you any more power magically just because it's a different metal. Now, what we need, since it's on an 05 Ecotec, you're going to need your gauges. There's a few different kind of gauges. This is a new tool I got for the gap. I'll show you, we'll be using that one. But this is your classic gauges and gap tools. See, you got your little AutoZone coin style. Got our feeler gauges. We are going to need a 10mm. I'll be using this just to speed stuff up. You're going to need a flat head to pop off that connector on the ignition control module. You're going to need some NICs for the plugs and some dielectric grease so that the plug boots don't get stuck. And trust me, they do, and it sucks when they do. So then you pocket wrench your extension to get down into the Ecotec. That's why an extension, it's kind of down in the center there, you'll see as we record it. And that's about all you need. It's pretty simple. Safety glasses, if you need. It's always a good idea to wear safety glasses, in case you accidentally throw a spark plug in your eyeball or something. So we'll see you in the engine bay. So here is my 2005 Chevrolet Cavalier with the 2.2 Ecotec, also found in a lot of other vehicles. You can see in a previous Team STC video when I did the timing tensioner, I list a lot of the vehicles that 2.2 Ecotec is found in. Now, some of them have coil on plug. This is done 5. Newer style like Cobalt's and a lot of other brands with the 2.2 Ecotec will not have this style ignition cover. It'll have coil on plug, which is pretty similar, but you'll have 2 little bolts or 1 little bolt depending on the vehicle. You just pop the coil on plug coil off. But this one, we have this kind of ignition module, and I'll show you how to remove that on a 2.2 Ecotec Cavalier. So I got my spark plugs for my Cavalier, or my Ecotec, sorry, or not sorry, whatever, it's my video, huh? So I got my little spark plug gap tool. These are supposed to be pre-gapped in the factory. I don't believe that. I always check the gap regardless. That's a good idea. The auto parts stores, guys, usually don't even work on their own cars. They're full of shit, to be honest. So anyways, check your gap and gap your own plugs. Now on a Cavalier stock one, the gap is 0.043, or you can just look it up in your manual. We should have a Haynes, or Chilton's manual. Sorry, there's so many out there. Or a factory manual, or you can call the dealer, or look it up online. But it's 0.043 for a factory Cavalier with a 2.2 Ecotec. So you just take out your little plug. Here's your little shiny plug. So shiny, so nice, right? You don't want to shock it. It's so shiny. Now, you're going to go ahead and check your gap on your little gauge here. So on my little AutoZone coin gauge, I want to get it to 0.043. So take it, gently slide it. Now this, for some reason, is at about 38. Now that's some bullshit. So they say these are pre-gapped. Like I said, that's always bullshit. Don't just pop these in. It will affect your gas mileage, your power, and your performance of your engine. So I'm going to check all 4 of these, and I will gap them accordingly to how they should be. Look at this, 35. Wow, totally pre-gapped my vehicle. Yeah, right. It's only way off. 35. That'd be cool for my boosted Cav, not so much for this car. So let's go ahead and check the gap on this. You could also use your feeler gauge or this style. Whatever style you have, but these are easiest picked up at AutoZone or any parts store. They're like $1 or $2. So this one, we are 34. Wow. Cool. We're doing good, huh? Good job with the pre-gapped plugs. The bullshit story about pre-gapped plugs. Hope you aren't offended easily by swearing. We swear sometimes on this channel. It's not a kids channel, so we do what we want. Now, we're going to check the last one. We are at 36. Wow. It's so cool that it's not. That sucks. So I'm going to be right back, and I'm going to gap these 2 spec. So I got my little tiny pliers, because these are gapped too small. So say you check your gap and it's too big, you can use one of these to close it up. I got this for less than 20 bucks on eBay. It's just called a gap, spark plug gap tool. This is great to close the gap. Now if we open up the gap too far, we'll use that to get it just right, which is okay. So you just take your little pliers, because on a special metal, this is a platinum plug. You do want to use at least platinum plugs on an Ecotec. You can use iridiums, but it's not necessary. It doesn't give you more power. There's no magic about it. It just lasts a little longer. These are already like a 3-year plug. So you can just get your platinums. Don't put coppers in these. They'll run like crap. So I use platinums even on my boosted car. So take your little pliers. Be careful not to hit the electrode. And just pull up a little bit at a time. Let's go ahead and check our gap and see where we're at. Remember, we want to be at 0.043. So now we're right on it. Look at that. If the camera would focus, you could see. So this plug is good to go. We're going to put it to the side. You won't always get lucky and do it the first try. We just happened to on that one. Okay, so this one was at, I know they were all too small of a gap. This one is at, we're at about 38. So we're going to open that up a little bit with our little pliers here. Like I said, just go gentle. You always just go a little bit at a time. Be careful not to touch that electrode. Just touch the ground strap. And twist your wrist just a little bit. You don't want to go too hard and break them. Then you got to go out and buy more plugs. And I order mine, so I'd have to order more. Okay, we brought it up just to 39. We want to be up to 43, so just keep going a little bit at a time. Very carefully. Until we get it. I was actually hoping we'd go too big. We went all the way to 50. Oh no. I was actually hoping that so I could show you how to use this kind of tool. So you just need the right tool for the job. In this case, our spark plug is 14mm on the threads. 14mm size, so we just screw it in. Make sure that set screw is out. So you can call it set screw, a squishy squisher stuff screw, whatever you want to call it. Let's go ahead and bring it down. And don't put pressure on it, just put it on there, nice like. And then we're going to go ahead and check our gap. There we go, so we can check it good. So we are at 50, I believe, when we checked it. So, yes, we want to be able to bring it down to 43. So, we take this out, and we just apply a little bit of pressure. If you need to, this one has a hex head. You just use your little tool, but really I can usually do them by hand pretty good. So I'm just going to twist a little bit. There we go, only a little bit at a time. So whether using one of these, or just this, or using your little tiny pliers, you want to get to 0.043. So I'm going to go ahead and gap all these to 0.043, and then we'll get to the lubrication part. Team STC's favorite part. So I gapped all the plugs. These are all gapped, how they should be. So we got our dielectric grease and our anti-seize lubricant. Now you can also pick these up in little packages about this big, little plastic packages by the registers at most parts stores for like $1 or $2. Usually $1, maybe less. But I like the bigger tubes because, you know, I work in cars all the time. So the dielectric grease is for the ceramic part, and the anti-seize is for the threaded part that goes inside the head. So you just want to put enough, but you don't want to overdo it. I'm only going to show you one because once you see one, you get the point. But I'm going to do it to all 4, of course. So a little bit there, a little bit there, and a little bit there. Now I'm not squeezing a whole glob. It's a little flat line of it, okay? Then you're going to take your little finger or your big finger or your pet's finger, whoever's finger you want, and you're going to smear it in the threads. Keep it in the threads. Now once you thread this into the vehicle, okay, it's going to spread into the aluminum threads in your Ecotec. You want to use this especially in an Ecotec because Ecotecs have all aluminum engines, which includes the head. So especially aluminum engines, you want to use this, but it's a good idea on any plug. You don't want to overdo it and just smear a crap load on there and then it just pops out while you're driving. I've seen it and I've dealt with it. Now, you take your dielectric grease and put it on the ceramic. You put a good amount, however much you feel like, unless you feel like the whole container, because that'd be ridiculous. And same thing, just spread it across. This is so your boot doesn't get stuck for next spark plug change, so you don't have to rip or tear or break anything to get these out, and it happens. I've had to do it on people's Ecotecs. So that's it. Now it's ready to go in. We have to take the old ones out, and then we can put these in. Now on our 2.2 Ecotec, it's a good idea to disconnect your battery first. I'm not going to show you how to disconnect your battery because I'm hoping you know how to disconnect your battery. If not, we'll make a whole video about you disconnecting your battery. I'm not being a smartass, I'm being serious. Let us know in the comments what you do want to see how-tos, whether it's a Cavalier or just a general how-to video for anything automotive. It could be audio, body, mechanic, we do it all. So anyways, back to the point. So this, I'm going to take my little flathead, and there's a little clip in there, and we're just going to pop that off. I'm just showing you close up because then I'm going to put the camera down on the stand. We have to take these 4 10mm bolts out. Very easy. Now usually there's a throttle cable holder right here. You can just pop the throttle cable out and bend it off out of the way to the side. And it bends back and forth very easy, it won't break. It's very thin aluminum, painted black. Usually it will be right here. So we're going to do that, and then we'll get to taking the plugs out. So we're just going to pop this off. Use a flathead, just push it upwards and gently pull it off. As gentle as that looked, it was still pretty gentle, believe it or not. Use your 10mm socket wrench. I'm just going to use this because it makes life easier on stuff like this. That's not a big deal. Loosen these 4 10mm bolts. Okay. Now, if whoever did the spark plugs before did use dielectric grease, it should be easy to come off. If they didn't, it's going to be really hard to get off and stuck on. And now that's why we use dielectric grease, so next time you do it, it'll be easy for next time. So we just go ahead and pull on it a little bit. There we go. And this side, it's a little cold outside, so don't mind me if it takes a second. But you can hear a little, and it'll come right out. Now sometimes the boots stay in. You just take your fingers and you should be able to pull them out. If you can't, you can use pliers if you have to, if they didn't use dielectric grease before. But this is the ignition monitor, the whole thing comes right out, and we're going to put it to the side. You see my boots got left behind, but they just popped off, so usually you can pop them out by hand, especially if you put the dielectric grease, which I always do. So I'm just going to reattach these to the ignition coil. These just push right on, so we're going to show you. I'm actually going to show you. They just push right on. They don't have to be in any particular order. These aren't like spark plug wires in a car with spark plug wires. Not as far as this goes. You just push them on, a little bit of pressure, and you're good. Sometimes they just pop off. It's real slippery on that metal. So now we're going to go ahead and pop these plugs out, the old ones. So now we're going to take out the old plugs. Seems simple enough, right, brother? We got our 5/8. Let me show you the size. Our 5/8 socket extension and our socket wrench set to loosen. So go ahead and pop it in. Now if you installed these previously, it shouldn't be too hard to pop these loose. If the shop did it, it might be hard. But so go ahead and pop it loose. Like that. See? Now it's loose. I'm going to do that to all 4. Just pop all 4 of them loose first. And I give him a couple turns, and then my miniature dog barks in the background, because that's what she does. But yeah, these shouldn't be too hard to pop off. There we go. Just a little bit of pressure. I get them started. And then we're going to loosen them up. At some point, they become so loose that you can just use the extension by hand to wind them out, especially if you used NICs last time. This is why we use NICs. I know I stress the same points over and over and over and over and over and over. But it's the little things that people don't pay attention to that actually makes a big difference. So now you can take these all out. I'm not going to show you me take them all 4 out, but you get the point. Nice and easy, just take them all out. And then we'll go ahead and be ready to put the new ones in. Okay, it's about time to put the new plugs in. Get my new plug in the socket, ready to go. It's good to buy an actual spark plug socket. See, because then there's a little piece of rubber that stops it from falling out. So try to find this size, 5/8, in a spark plug socket, so that when you're going to put it in to thread it, you don't drop the spark plug. You don't want to cross thread these. Definitely don't want to cross thread these. So you can see the NSEs is on there. The dielectric is in there. You can't see, but it's on there. We're going to go ahead and thread all these by hand, as tight as we can thread them by hand, and then it's just going to be a 1/4 turn on the socket wrench. So let's go ahead and pop these in. Straight down in, nice and easy. That way we know when our cross threading, it should go in with just your fingers. And by that I mean you shouldn't have to really give it anything. So you should be able to twist in easy. If it's hard to twist in, you're probably cross threading. Take it back out. Try to start it again. So now there's resistance. Now that I've put in a lot, I'm going to tighten it as good as I can by hand. And we're going to go ahead and grab the other one. We got 4 of these to do, of course, since it's a 4-cylinder. I am actually going to show you me putting all 4 of these in, because why not? I know you like it. Do you like it? Then give us a thumbs up. Right there below the video. We would appreciate a thumbs up. We do appreciate your feedback and your comments, and if you're interested in seeing any other videos, as mentioned before. More videos to come, of course, as we go. 2 more plugs to go. So you can just see, we're not putting them in with the socket wrench, we're putting them in by hand. And you want to tighten them as good as you can by hand first. Now, I'm doing this all by myself. No extra cameraman today or anything. So, if my elbow's in the way, or my shoulder, or my face, whatever, I'm kind of sorry because I can't help it. I'm only using 1 camera today. And 1 person. So we got 1 more plug to go. Straight down in, nice and easy. You should thread in nice and smooth, just like that. A lot of people over tighten these. We're going to make sure not to over tighten these. Do not wrench on these like a mother sucker. Just nice and easy. So tighten it by hand as much as you can. That's fine, without being ridiculous. So, ooh, there it is. So hard, right? So we got our socket wrench over here. And we're going to flip it over to tighten. Put it on our extension. This spark plug, they're all going to get a 1/4 of a turn to tighten. That's all they need. So, that's it. Each plug just gets a 1/4 of a turn. And that's it. Then we're going to go ahead and put the ignition module back on. So I'm going to grab that. So as you can see, it's spark plugs. It's pretty simple, especially on an Ecotec, and especially on an Ecotec Cavalier. So I got our ignition module. I got my bolts already in there. Go ahead and place it into place, and give it a little push. You don't push too hard. The actual hardware, the bolts themselves, will sink down and tighten them up and give you the connection you need on the plugs. Like I said, you can do this by hand. This is just faster for me. Then my socket stays in there for no reason. So, that's good. Now we can go ahead and plug in our connection over here. Remember our little 1 connection we have here? You'll hear it snap. And that confirms that you're connected. Reconnect your negative on your battery. Assume you disconnected it. I did not for this case, but it's a good idea to disconnect your battery when working on anything electrical. Now we can start it up and see how she sounds. So once your engine heats up, New plugs
Now's
are
the
in.
time
Time
to
to
start
go
it
ahead
up.
and test drive it. See how she does with your improved gas mileage, your improved performance with your nice new spark plugs. So I hope that helps someone out with their Cavalier or any of their people. So I guess that's it for today. Don't forget to leave a like, thumbs up, right down below.
This is a cold
Comment down
start,
below.
so it's kind of loud and idles a little high because it's cold. You should always change your spark plugs only when your engine is cold, especially on one of these aluminum engines. Sounds good, sounds loud, sounds healthy.